Welcome to the No More Meds podcast with Dr. Corinne Weaver. Are you stressed out because you keep getting sick and don't know what steps to take? Are you sick of not getting answers from your doctor and always needing to take drugs? How would your life be different if you were healthy? Be inspired and stay tuned for some practical solutions for healthy living.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for coming to the No More Meds podcast show today. We have a special guest. Her name is Lindsay Norton, and she wants to share her story about her infertility issues, and maybe she may have a special story to share that just happened recently. So I'm excited to have her on the show today. Lindsay, hey.
Hi. Thanks for having me. This is exciting.
Oh, I'm so glad that you're here. I've known your family. Well, did I start off with Scott first and
Yes.
then Kim? Okay. So Scott came, I don't know how long. I saw him this week and I was like, I don't even know how long. I feel like I've known him my whole life. You know, it's just,
I know.
Just, of course,
Even
you've known
me,
him.
Oh, yeah. I've been with you for, I think, at least 4 years. So he would have been longer than that.
Wow, 4 years. Yeah, much
Yeah.
longer. And we've become really, really close. And he's always treated me, I know I'm not his daughter, but he's kind of treated me like a daughter. You know, he writes me little thank you cards. He's just so loving. He's been through a lot. We'll have to have him on the podcast next.
You definitely will.
Yeah. So I know he wanted you, I think you had some health issues, I guess about 4 or 5 years ago. And he was like, well, why don't you talk to Dr. Weaver about it? And let's kind of start there about your health journey and where you're at today.
Ooh, what a difference. Okay. So about 4 or 5 years ago, I actually ended up in the emergency room twice for unexplained. I was passing out it was like 3 times within 5 minutes. And when they came back, they had no explanation for it. They did blood tests, heart tests, and just everything came back negative. So couldn't figure that out. And so that's when you said Dad recommended me to you, going more of a holistic journey. And you knew right off the bat. We took a few tests and you were able to tell me ABC. This is the kind of stuff that you're struggling with. Let's tackle these first. And what a difference. And this was before, I was trying to get pregnant, was just trying to get my health in order because knowing that I would struggle carrying a baby to term if I was in the health that I was in. I was at the lowest weight I've ever been at since, probably like freshman year of high school. So I was at an unhealthy weight. I was having a lot of eating issues, like allergy-wise, not an eating disorder, but allergy-wise, which we didn't know at that point either. And then having a lot of, I think it was like thyroid issues and just a bunch of different stuff that came back, which was a little overwhelming. But thanks to you, you helped me go step by step, one at a time, and was able to kind of overcome all of those things. And I am the healthiest I've ever been pre-pregnancy, post-pregnancy, and I just feel so much energy, and what a difference that this has made.
That is so awesome. And the thing is, mostly you lived kind of far away, didn't you, to travel to my office?
I did. I traveled, I think one way was about 45 minutes.
Which is it's quite a distance, and so, at the time I didn't really set you up for chiropractic care. We were just mostly just doing functional medicine, which, some of my patients, they come in just for functional medicine. Some just do chiropractic, some want to do both. And so at the time I thought, let's just do functional medicine. And we did that, and you did really, really well. And then I just remember an email from you where you were now healthy and things were going good and you were ready to have a baby. And I was like, well, we've done everything, but we haven't done the chiropractic thing yet. Mm-hmm. So what made you look into, or did you do anything else for infertility? I don't know if you went to go visit anybody else during that time,
I did. So my OB at that point, I hadn't had my period since getting off of birth control back a couple years before that. So I was 2 years without a period on my own. So she tried to put me on progesterone type medicine, trying to get that to jumpstart that, and it didn't even work. Then they tried to put me on Clomid to try to help me to ovulate. That didn't work. So after doing all those things and realizing, okay, obviously medicine is not doing what they think it should have been doing, then maybe I need to go a holistic way, which is getting my body back where it should be regardless. And so that's when I came to you, and knowing that you did chiropractic, you kind of sat me down and told me all the benefits of it. And I was like, you know what? I'm kind of at a point where I'm willing to try anything. And of course, so we tried chiropractic for, I don't even think it was 3 months before it might have been, it was probably like 6 to 8 weeks. And then my cycle came back. And that's all it took. It really got my body jump started the way it should have been.
And how long were you into the care? Because we put you, I think, maybe on a 4-month, because I was thinking probably about 4 months.
Yep.
Not that I want to be like God or anything. Of course not, because God is totally in control. But looking at you and knew that you were healthy and you had no complaints. I mean, a lot of people come to chiropractor like, I have headaches, I got neck pain, I got back pain, I got all these problems. And you're like, now I'm at a healthy state. I just can't get pregnant.
Exactly. Right.
Right. So you were like, I don't know if I'm out of alignment or in alignment or what to feel.
Right.
So I was like, well, we're just going to work with, knowing how the nervous system works and get it as best functioning as we can, and just allow your body and God's timing to, get this worked out. So, so how long was it when you started chiropractic care?
Oh, I think it was right at 2 to 3 months, because I did not finish out the full term that you had put me at.
Yeah. So you went, I guess, 2 months and then got another cycle. And was it the next month that you got pregnant?
Yep. I did. And y'all were actually, before I even told my parents, you and Dr. Lisa were the first two who found out that I was pregnant, because I had an adjustment the day after I took the pregnancy test and found out.
That's so awesome. That's the power of the adjustment, right? The power of
that is exactly right. Yeah. And it's just something like that you just wouldn't even think. And, after those few adjustments, I could feel better, even though I didn't even know that I needed to feel any bit better. But then the cycles came back, everything was regulated. And then lo and behold, I got pregnant.
Yeah. And she's here. And did you kind of, I think you went the whole pregnancy. Didn't we see you follow during the pregnancy and all the way through? And so not only did you get chiropractic care, but this sweet little baby girl had chiropractic care her whole entire life. So tell us about the journey of being pregnant and getting chiropractic care. How was that for you? Like pain wise or delivery and how your labor went and everything?
I would recommend this 100 times over. And I've even told friends of mine, because my pregnancy, I almost didn't feel pregnant because I had absolutely no side effects. I didn't have morning sickness. I didn't have bodily aches. I had no trouble sleeping, which I know is super rare.
Right.
I slept even better pregnant than I did not being pregnant. So really, like the whole time I was pregnant, except for showing with my belly, I would have never thought that I was pregnant. So then going into delivery, I pushed for about an hour, but didn't have any problems. And so I can total most of that to having chiropractic care throughout, making sure I was aligned the whole time. So I knew that even during that process, I wasn't going to hurt anything. So, I mean, it was the absolute best thing I could have done.
And I love that. A lot of people don't realize that chiropractic is so important for pregnancy. And so just recently, I'd say in the last month, we've gotten more pregnant women coming into the office, wanting to have a healthier, starting to or thinking about more about their health now. And when you're pregnant, all you think about is your health, right? You start taking prenatal vitamins, you start eating healthy because it's not about yourself anymore. It's about this new baby. And you were already doing that before. So, so the delivery went easy, the labor was good, and we have this precious little baby girl. And tell us about her.
I can't even describe. Some days it still feels like she's not even mine. It just is. It's just a dream to me. But she, again, just like pregnancy being super easy, she is the easiest, just most content little baby. I feel almost like I'm not even deserving of just all the blessings that I've been given through this. But she just, she's slept through the night at 8 weeks old. She's eating well, like breastfeeding's been an amazing journey. So it's been just the biggest blessing ever. And then had no idea that infant chiropractic was even a thing. Of course, and I should have known. I've been with you for how long, and you've even told me about it. And I was like, she won't need it, whatnot. But then she started having a few colicky issues and was having some spit up issues. And then that's when I brought her to you. I think she was probably 4 weeks old. She was pretty young when I brought her to you for the first time. And fixed her issues, no more gas issues, hardly spit up at all. I think I took her at 4 weeks and 8 weeks, and then didn't have to bring her back again until she was like 9 or 10 months.
Wow.
So it held for a long time. Yeah. Yeah.
Did she, and I know you go to regular pediatrician appointments. Did you bring that up to the pediatrician, and what did they have to offer, with her acid and colicky? Did you bring that up to them, or?
I did. And honestly, the only things that they could really say was they kind of just told about breastfeeding. They said, hold her back a certain way, make sure you burp her in between, make sure you do this while you're feeding, and 30 minutes later, don't let her do tummy time. And it was stuff that I had really already been doing. And I think part of that was because they don't even know that, chiropractic for infants is the answer.
Right. And then the thing is, it's hard to realize because, with a baby, they're perfect and they come into this world. But when we go, what we found is subluxations. And a lot of my listeners probably don't know this, but 8 out of 10 babies do have a subluxation. And that's because of the delivery process or the way they were in the womb and their head and neck position. And so I had a baby just recently that couldn't poop. So we finally got that going. And you know how big a deal that is. So we want to make sure our bowels are going, get those toxins
exactly
out.
Right.
So for this little girl, she was struggling just a little bit, even though she had overall a really healthy turnout. She still was having some issues with acid reflux and like you said, some spit up. But yeah, just a few adjustments. And it's not like you need many. It was, you said what, 1 at 4 weeks, 8 weeks, and one more over the course. Yeah. She's a year now, right? Didn't she just turn?
In 3.5 weeks, she'll be a year old.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. She's going to be a year.
It goes way too fast. Way too fast.
It does. It goes by so fast. And just enjoy those special, special moments.
Oh, yeah.
And your mom, I've known your mom for a while too. And she kind of similar condition that you were having. And so have y'all, as a family, you said your mom and your dad, have y'all, like, in this health journey changed so much in the way you've eaten in the last few years?
Ooh, Mom and I went from eating gluten and dairy like it didn't matter in the world to all of a sudden cold turkey next day, giving up most of gluten, most of dairy. And that was, I think, in all honesty, for the first week, we probably both cried at most meals because, you just realize how much stuff you miss. But then I'd say after about a month, you just kind of forget about it. And it became just the new life for us. And it's been 4 to 5 years now, I think, that we both changed our diets. And even if I could have that stuff, even, I may be able to, I haven't even tried it, but I don't think I'd go back just because you just feel so much healthier and more energized. I just, you just feel kind of nasty after eating some of that other, that stuff, which a lot of people probably shouldn't even have without an allergy.
Right. And it's crazy because most people think that eating gluten and dairy, I mean, when there's a storm coming in, you go to the store, you get bread and milk, right? That's what that's what we're used to. That's what we grow up on. And so when I tell patients that they have to get off gluten and dairy, they just kind of like phase out, like they'll phase out. What are you saying? I got to do what? And I remember your mom, I think, what's that? What else is there to eat? And I remember your mom, she's obsessed with coffee. Is she still obsessed with coffee? Yes. Oh, yeah. She looked at me, she's like, what am I going to put in my coffee? And I was like, well, there's, coconut creamer and almond creamer and, other creamers. And she's looking at me like, this is not going to work. Yeah. But to see you guys now, 4 or 5 years later, making the healthier choices and how that's going to affect your daughter and your family. I mean, that's changing generations to come, which is amazing and also good to hear. So with the chiropractic experience, besides feeling really good, have you had any friends or family members that have tried it and had bad experiences, or has it all been good for them? Or what's your thoughts on trying to share this message that are listening now? Like, she's crazy. Her life seems too perfect. She has perfect life with the chiropractic. So tell me how to motivate them to even try to make that step of faith.
Yeah. So my cousin is a chiropractor as well, and he actually specializes, but he lives I think he's in Ohio. But he also really tries to drill down at least infant chiropractic and chiropractic in adults, because you just don't realize that you actually need it. And so, you don't know unless you try. If you've got any kind of issues, like we just were talking about, I didn't have any. I had no idea that, chiropractor was going to help me get to a better lifestyle. But after looking at my first adjustment and you showing me how off my neck alignment was, it literally looked like an E. I mean, it was something that was so curved and so out of place. And even just the first one, like, you just feel, it's just all about the energy. I felt so energetic. I felt just you feel so much younger. Of course, I'm already young. I'm only 29, but I felt like I was 21 again. And so it really does. It just changes your life. And I have a few friends who have infants that have been struggling with gas issues. And the first thing I tell them, I'm like, I know you may be iffy about this, but try chiropractic. Just give it one try. There's no danger to it. You can't get hurt from it. Your baby may be a little bit sore from it, but they're too young to even remember. So I've been telling all of my friends about it, and I had one that went, and she said that it was the best advice she could have gotten. So.
Oh, that's so good. Doesn't that feel good? Just like when you share the good news of Christ, just like sharing the good news, and then you just plant the seeds. It's so hard because when I'm in it every day, I see the miracles happen, and like every single day someone's telling me a story of this, this issue and this issue getting better. And so chiropractic's all about that energy. And I love how you said that. It's energy, it's about that brain and nervous system and how we're wired. And it is amazing, that feeling that you get when you get that first adjustment. It's like, what just happened to me? Like my brain just kind of like lights up, and it just opens up this new world. And so besides, chiropractic and nutrition, what other things are you doing, like holistically? Have you moved into this new natural holistic? Are you one of those people who like look kind of crazy now? You got the essential oils probably going on. What vitamins? What kind of other things? But you weren't grown up. Your parents didn't really grow you up in like essential oils and like vitamins and stuff, right? That kind of just happened in the last few years. So that's kind of changed for everybody with the essential oils and everything.
Oh, yes. Because I actually use the little Young Living Kids essentials for Kinsley when she's had a few things, like when she was going through a stage of, she had her first cold back in the winter. So I used the Sniffles one. And then we like doing the aromatherapy with like the eucalyptus, peppermint, spearmint, all those like refreshing ones. So when you walk into the kitchen, it just feels very refreshing. We use it in the vacuum cleaner. We have a rainbow. So when we're vacuuming the house, like I just feel like we use them all over the place. Use them in the bathtub, just all
wherever.
Yeah. It's just easy,
Yeah, it's easy. It's refreshing. It smells good. It puts your mood in a better place. All of those things. And there's a lot of energy in the power of essential oils and the power of plants and the things that we put in our bodies that give us energy. So I think that's so neat that you weren't raised that way, like you had to, and your parents are the ones that figured it out. Usually it's the younger ones that turn the parents on. But the parents are somehow, I don't even know. I have to research and figure out how I found Scott or how he found me or whatever. Right. But it's been so long now. He's, like I said, he's part of family. But, how did, he's been, I guess, a preacher for how long now, your dad?
Oh, gosh. I'm going to say it's been at least 12 years, probably closer to 15 at this point.
So you were raised,
as long as I can remember.
Yeah. So you were raised in a Christian home, and believe that God brings healing, which is totally the truth. And then, when you have health problems, you tend to go to drugs for answers, and just because we're raised that way, it's like so crazy. And I see a lot of preachers, and, they believe obviously God and Jesus can heal them, but when they get sick, they go to doctors hoping for answers, and doctors provide all these medications and drugs and surgeries that doesn't take them to the pathway they want. And then they finally, reach me, and I tell them, you can heal within, your body can heal within. And they're looking at me like, you're what? And it's just that power of getting that nervous system and immune system and all the systems that God created to work together for our good. So anything else you want to share that's on your heart for our listeners? Any moms out there that may be struggling with a baby right now, or the struggle it is to be not able to get pregnant, and how scary that is. And you being a Christian, and having infertility issues, I'm sure I don't know if now you would question your belief, but you sit there wondering, anything you could share with them to give them hope on the infertility or raising a child with health issues.
Yeah, I will say this, because when I went to an infertility specialist, before I came to you, obviously, you know, I was kind of at a last resort of trying to figure out what are my options left. You know, you start to panic, you start to worry, how much longer, when is this going to happen? Is it going to happen? And it was interesting that he said that one of my issues, I wasn't able to ovulate on my own, and that was due to my pituitary gland wasn't sending the correct signals to my body. And, you know, I would have never put two and two together until I came to you for chiropractic. Your neck alignment being off is a reason why you're not able to send the signals down to your ovaries and to all that kind of stuff. And so, you know, when I thought about it after I left the specialist, I was like, you know, if I would have done chiropractic care a year prior, maybe I would have not had as many issues as I had. Of course, I'm thankful for what I went through because I would have never had Kinsley, you know, with that waiting time. But, you know, the wait and seeing all these other women and whatnot become pregnant, whether it be easy or not, is very difficult. And so going the holistic route to try to fix your entire body, you know, made the world of a difference for me. And, you know, looking back, I wouldn't change any of it. And now that we're actually trying for baby number 2, because of course we want them to be closer in age, and there's always in the back of your mind, you think, am I going to struggle again? Are we going to have the same issues that we had trying to get pregnant with our first? The very first thing I did was, I need to get back into chiropractic care. Let's see if we can jumpstart it, getting the care I need. And so, yeah, so all of the listeners who may be out there who are struggling, you know, never give up is first and foremost, because of course God's in the miracle business and he can do anything. But definitely, you know, take care of your body. There's a lot of fears out there and anxieties that drive you to go to infertility clinics and go to doctors who can, you know, grasp from the air trying to tell you all the different things that they think. But definitely give chiropractic care a try because A, it's not as expensive as doctors and infertility specialists and all of those things.
Yeah, you're the second one that said that in the podcast. So just recently, I had a father, and he was talking about thousands of dollars he was spending on ER visits because of their 4 kids going back and forth to the ER. He was like, I'll spend money on chiropractic every day if I don't have to go to the ER anymore, you know?
Yeah.
And it is definitely affordable because those infertility clinics are, I don't even know, but I'm sure they're very, very expensive. And that's so interesting I remember that email that you told me. And that's when, as soon as you mentioned the communication, when there's something going on with the brain, the pituitary glands not getting the messages down, I'm like,
yeah,
well, we know how to fix that problem. Just get you adjusted, right?
That's right.
And it's like, people are looking at me like, it's that simple? I'm like, well, as long as we know how to clear out the nervous system, get the brain communicating better, that's as simple as we can get it, you know, and let the body do what it's designed to do. How did they figure that out? Do you know how they figured out that your pituitary, did they test the pituitary gland hormones and it just wasn't producing?
Yes. Yeah, they tested several hormones and then also did an ultrasound and put the 2 and 2 together to find out that was what my biggest issue was.
Wow. And that's when they thought that maybe the Clomid, or did they put Clomid after?
Oh,
after
I did
that?
Clomid and I forget the other one that kind of mirrors Clomid. It's another one to kind of jumpstart ovulation, and neither one of them even budged my body to try to get me to ovulate. Either one of them.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some powerful drugs that people have used in the past and some of them work and some of them don't work. It just depends on your body.
Right.
But yeah, those medications are powerful. So if they're not working, then you know that signal was just not turned on. So let's get the medication out of the system. Let's just turn the body back on and get it working where it needs to work.
Exactly.
Well, I thank you so much for being on the podcast today and sharing your story. There's going to be so many people that are in the same situation that want to hear just some hope out there, because I know there's a lot of negativity out there in the world. And so just to know that you're, and where you were and where you're at now and holding your little baby girl, and that just brings so much joy. I can see it in your face, and just give hope to other people that, you know, when the timing is right, it will all happen, and to be patient. And that's so hard, right? Patience.
That is the hardest part. Yes.
That is such the hardest part, you know. All right. Well, I thank you so much. Anything else you'd like to share?
No, that's it. And I can give you a huge thank you, because you're definitely one of the friendly, like we feel like family. Just anyone who comes to you, you just can feel the presence, the the Christian music that's in the environment when you get there. And so you just already feel welcome and at home. So I can't thank you enough for really turning my life upside down health-wise. So I thank you.
Thank you. And have a good, blessed evening. Bye.
Yes, and same to you.
Thanks for listening to the No More Meds podcast. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share your favorite episodes with your family and friends, or at least leave a review on iTunes or Stitcher. The content and opinions expressed are those of the host and presenters. They are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. Product statements have not been evaluated by the FDA.